Salama family, Amat's here, coming to you again with just another quick presentation. We're going to be looking at right now getting understanding in this time of our gathering and of our people, that we understand the things that we should and should not be doing before our Father that could be an offense to Him or could lead to defiling of our temple. And we do this by making sure that we get into the Word, that we have understanding of what it is we should and should not be doing, and in this case, what we should be consuming. We're going to be looking at the egg. As we see here, what is an egg? In simple terms, the egg is a mature female reproductive cell, especially of a human or other animal, which can divide to give rise to an embryo, usually only after fertilization by a female cell. So we can agree that the egg is the most central and important component of bringing forth life with a person and with animal. Yah has set this up this way, in which that egg is fertilized and then it goes through its period of development and all the other supporting parts that is happening after fertilization to bring forth life of both the female of the person and the female of the animal. And so the key question is going to be, is this something that the Most High has told us that we should consume, that we should eat? And I'm just asking you as we go through to think about it and, empty out your thoughts, and let's take a look at it. If we remember in Scripture, there's the story of Daniel and his brothers when they were taken into captivity by Nebuchadnezzar. They refused to eat from his table. And so with knowledge, we know why they may have done that. So let us establish where eggs are mentioned in Scripture. And in these Scriptures is the Most High telling us that we should eat them. Devarim and Deuteronomy 22:6. When you come upon a bird's nest along the way, in any tree or on the ground, with young ones or eggs, with the mother sitting on the young or on the eggs, do not take the mother with the young. Again, as we look at the Scripture, the question is it telling us to eat an egg? Eob or Job, chapter 39, verses 14 to 15. She leaves her eggs on the ground and warms them in the dust, and forgets that a foot might crush them, or a wild beast tread on them. Proverbs 27:8. Like a bird that wanders from its nest, so is a man who wanders from his place. Like a bird that wanders from its nest, so is a man who wanders from his place. Yeshayahu, or Isaiah 10:14. And my hand finds the riches of the people like a nest, and I have gathered all the earth like forsaken eggs are gathered, and there was no one who moved his wing, nor opened his mouth with even a peep. Same book, we're going to stay in Yeshayahu, or Isaiah, as it's called, chapter 34, verse 15. The arrow snake shall nest there, and lay eggs, and hatch, and gather them under her shadow. There too the vultures shall gather, each with its mate. We're putting together all the verses that are found in Scripture in reference to eggs. Let's look at the next one. Is going to be Yeshayahu, or Isaiah chapter 59, verse 5. They have hatched adder's eggs, and they weave the spider's web. Whoever eats their eggs dies, and when one is broken, an adder is hatched. We're going to keep it going. We're going to go into the book of Yirmiyahu, or Jeremiah next. And the next scripture will be in Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 11. As a partridge that broods but does not hatch, so is he who gets riches, but not by right. It leaves him in the midst of his days, and at his end he is a fool. So as we read these scriptures, we see nothing here is telling us that we should be consuming eggs as a part of what the Most High has laid out to us that we should eat. So if we look here at the basic structure of the egg, we see it is the center of the reproductive system. These are all the components that are set in place within an egg, in this case a bird's egg, very similar to most all birds that will bring forth life once it's fertilized. We have the egg shell, which is the outer harder part, which protects the egg. In this case, because the egg is going to be out of the body of the chick, unlike a person, when the egg is fertilized, it remains inside. So the egg shell is the protective layer. We have the inner membrane, the chalaza, right? If we move to the right, we have the albionic fluid, which would be the same as the embryonic fluid for the female person. We have the embryo that is being developed. We have the amniotic liquid, the yolk, which is both of these that you see here, the albumin and the air cell, right? So this is the basic structure of an egg. Again, it is the central part of the reproductive system of all animals and people, right? Without it, no life can come forth. So if a female woman produces no eggs, or something happens where the eggs are not in good health, they cannot be fertilized, no life will come forth. The same applies as well to the eggs of an animal. And so, again, I want you to keep in mind and ask yourself the question, should we be eating the reproductive system of an animal? As we go through the book of Wayikra or Leviticus, is there anywhere in there in all of what the Most High has left to us that we should consume and not consume? Has He told us that we should eat the egg? And if we slew an animal that was clean for us to eat, would we take out the reproductive system of the male or female and consume it? Eggs in animals and people are part of the female, we're going to reiterate this again, reproductive system. And what we're going to look at here is look at, basically, we will use the chicken, in this case, in this small presentation as a central focus. So let's keep in mind that a hen does not know if an egg has been fertilized. The non-hybrid chicken, which is your regular common fowl, will automatically sit on the egg, heating it and constantly turning it until it hatches in roughly about 21 days, right? So what this should be telling us is that there's an innate reaction from the hen or the bird of the wild of what it needs to do once an egg has come forth, once it has had any interaction with a male of the species, what happens when the egg comes forth, right? So that's going to be an automatic reaction. So keep in mind that in the case of a chicken, if there's a rooster present, that rooster is going to present itself, fertilize the female. We're not going to go through how that works. And once an egg comes forth, the female is going to have an automatic reaction to what it will do to keep that egg warm and incubated evenly on all sides. And at some point, if the egg is not compromised in its health, will bring forth a chick which will be a part of its brood, right? All industrial producers of eggs do not have roosters around, right? So we can see that those animals aren't going to come in contact with a rooster. So that female is not going to have the eggs, and it's not going to turn those eggs. So remember that we've established a truth that cannot be argued. Eggs in animals and people are part of the female reproductive system. So, if a male is not around in those eggs, the eggs cannot and will not be fertilized, right? We established this. Cannot and will not be fertilized. So those eggs will be separated. They'll be kept cool to prevent them. If, for example, you have a producer of eggs where there are roosters around, those eggs will be kept cool so they do not develop. If you know anything about chickens, then you will know that when you crack open an egg and you see that spot right in the middle of the egg, right, it's telling you that the egg has been fertilized. With this, it tells you that blood is present. That means you're eating essentially an aborted fetus, right? Think about that. The egg has been fertilized. It has not been allowed to develop because this is in the case that you have a male around, right? Let's say you have what they call free-range chickens or whatever the case may be. So we've established that the Most High made all animals and people with a reproductive system, and that eggs are part of the reproductive system. And in no way has the Most High given us any instruction at all that we should be consuming eggs as a part of our daily meals, diet, breakfast, cooking, baking, however we want to do it. We've also established that nowhere in Scripture, again, are we told to eat eggs. Should we be eating the reproductive system of any animal, even if the animal is clean for us to eat? The answer to that, by what I see and what we see in the Scripture, would be a resounding no. We should not be eating the reproductive system of any animal, and the egg is a central part of that. So let's examine ourselves, family. Let's be as Daniel and his brothers. Let's be careful in what we are putting into our bodies and what we're eating, and to ensure that it's pleasing to the Most High, right? So we should not be eating eggs of any animal. In Babylon, we have been told to eat things that Yah did not tell us to. Let us read the Word so the Spirit can lead us into all truth. Praise Abba. Thank you for your time. I hope that it's been instructive. I know it's been a while since I've posted something. So much is going on. But I pray that you will humble yourself, put yourself in the Word, and understand what it is thus said the Most High. Salam.